Especially Trace leads the post parade for the 55th running of the All American Futurity at odds of 3-1. Dave, there's Wagon Full of Gold.
Wagon Full of Gold. Jay Conklin looking to win this race for the second time. Handsome Jack Flash, the New Mexico bred, looking to become the first New Mexico bred since Bye Bye JJ in 2003.
Houdini and Cody Jensen makes his way onto the racetrack. Cody Jensen won this race twice in back-to-back years in 2005 and 2006.
Cody Jensen had a choice between Houdini and your fastest qualifier, Wagon Tails. He ends up on Houdini. There's Fatal Policy, who was a well-beaten third behind Wagon Tails and Scoos Please in the trial.
Scoos Please has only made 4 career starts. 3 of them he won. His only loss to Wagon Tails in a very fast trial on the second day.
And he had trouble in that race too with G.R. Carter aboard. That's a good long shot to consider at 10-1. He's relentless. For trainer Amber Blair, this is her only horse on trial day. One chance to get in, and she did it.
You and How Many More is a little bit of the forgotten horse in here at 15-1. Don't forget, this horse missed by a nose in the Grade 1 Ruidoso Futurity earlier this year.
Regal Eagle was the favorite in the Rainbow Futurity. Didn't get away all that well. Came rallying for 5th. Look out if he gets out of the gate. And here's your fastest qualifier, Wagon Tails. Rodrigo Vallejo knows this one well. He had been riding this one for Judd Curl before getting injured. Cody Jensen going to Houdini means that Rodrigo is reunited with Wagon Tails.
Well, we're joined on the set by a 3-time winner of the All-American and an 11-time champion trainer, Paul Jones. I want to know what you saw when they made their way onto the track. Who caught your eye?
Well, I watched all the horses walk out on the track, Mike, and I was really impressed with Houdini. I thought that horse looked really sharp. He was on his toes. He looked really bright-eyed. He looked like the way I like to see him when they're going out on the track. The other horse that I thought looked really sharp was the 10-horse Wagon Tails. Those are the 2 horses that really walked out of the paddock looking like they're ready to run. The best looking horse in the race, I thought, was He's Relentless. That horse is absolutely gorgeous.
Well, there you have it. From a man who knows his way around the barn, and he knows his way around the paddock prior to the All-American. He also knows his way to the winner's 55th running of the All-American. Paul Jones, it is time to solicit your opinion as a handicapper. You don't have a dog in this race. Who do you think it is?
Well, my pick of today is especially Trace.
Yeah.
This filly has been super impressive. She's 4 for 4. She's won by 3 1/4 and 3.5 lengths in her last 2 starts. She's ran up against a 10-mile-an-hour headwind in her last start. The filly's won before off the rail. I think she's the real deal, Mike. Also, I think Houdini is going to be giving her a run for her money early. And then the question mark will be He's Relentless and Wagon Tails will be making a big run on the end. So I think the filly will be out in front, and I think that Wagon Tail will be the one that will have the chance to catch her out of the 10-hole.
See, this whole exercise of having Paul on the set was worth it because he vindicated my pick because I got especially Trace as well.
Well, she's never lost before. I mean, but she's never been challenged either. That's the question. When you're used to winning by 3 lengths and you have a horse going nose to nose with you, could that perhaps change things? She might not even see He's Relentless, who's drawn further towards the outside, but Artie Hubbard, part of the ownership group of He's Relentless. That's a guy that you've trained for before. You've been trying to win this race, and he's got everybody up on the roof.
Right, and I've trained for him in this race. We've run 3rd in this race. It's been his lifelong dream to win this race. He's got a great chance today. He's got a good horse. He's got a good post, and I wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, He's Relentless right now is heading postward at odds of 7-2. He is the second choice in the wagering.
Yeah, let's talk odds. This is the first time we've really been able to see where the money has been going. No clear-cut favorite in here. 5-2 on the inside filly, especially Trace. 7-2 on He's Relentless. Your fastest qualifier, Wagon Tails, sitting up on the board at 5-1. The morning line in this year's All-American Futurity, Mike, extremely accurate.
Paul, it's almost post time for the All-American. You're just sitting there waiting. When you have horses in this race, what's going through the mind and how do you feel as a trainer?
Well, this is the part when you're most nervous because it's all out of your hands now.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there and waiting and hoping you just want everything to go right.
There's Jim Pitts, the owner of especially Trace, feeling exactly what you're talking about right now.
Exactly. I mean, all you ask for as a trainer is to get a fair start and a good, clean race. And that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping your horse goes in the gates and acts professional and looks down the track and gets out of there and gets a clean race.
Jim Pitts is actually very happy that you're sitting on the set here with us today because the last time he had a horse in the All-American Futurity, you beat him. He had Love Samba back in 2009 when Running Brook Gal won, so he's glad you're right here.
I also wanted to mention the sire, Dash Air. Dash Air you got to see because he raced against Planet Holland when you were racing him out here.
Yes, and Dash Air, you know, he hasn't had a lot of horses go to the track. And this sire has done very well. I mean, this filly is definitely a racehorse, and And kudos to Dash Air.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing because the other sires represented. PYC Paint Your Wagon, Valiant Hero has really jumped on the scene. Of course, First Down Dash, the sire of Fatal Policy. We've seen his exploits more often than any other sire in the history of this game. One famous Eagle. And one famous Eagle, also the sire of Regal Eagle. Dave, this is an absolute live long shot here at 9-1.
Oh, absolutely. He's proven. You know, he's already qualified for a Grade 1 race. And I loved his trial for the Rainbow Futurity. That his stride, where he's just gliding across the track late in the race and pulling away, really caught my eye. But then he came back, and he didn't have the best of breaks in the final.
No, he didn't. But this horse really runs strong on the end. He's definitely a strong finisher. He's had the most outs of any horse in the race. He's had 6 outs. He's definitely more experienced. But the question is that going to help him having that many outs or not?
Yeah, you never know. Have we seen his best, or is his best yet to come? You come into this race with 3 or 4 starts under your belt, you feel like you haven't seen the ceiling yet.
Yeah.
So they're just about at the gate. Dave, let's talk about the number 4 horse here, Houdini. I know it's a one that you think a lot of. And of course, the story about how he got his name is amazing.
I can't believe he's 7-1, though. That's such a big price on a horse that's never... Okay, he's lost once, and that was in a $700,000 Futurity at Remington Park. When he lost by a nose, he's an inch away from being undefeated. He's got a jockey that's won this race twice for you, Paul Jones, and Cody Jensen. You know, to get a jockey that's already won this race is huge.
It is really huge, and Cody Jensen right now is riding as good as any jockey in the country, and he is the kind of rider you want for a race like this. He is calm and cool, and he knows how to get the job done.
He's got great hands. He can really get him rolling late. Okay, final thoughts, Dave. Who's your pick going into the gate?
Sticking with Houdini, I believe that he's going to break sharply here from post position number 4, but obviously the one to really beat is on the inside. That's Especially Trace.
And you're sticking with Especially Trace.
Well, I'm going to go Especially Trace first, Wagon Tail second, and my runner-up would be Houdini, and he's relentless. But the 2 that come out of the paddock the best, Houdini and Wagon Tails, they sure look sharp.
They all look sharp. There's not a bad-looking one in the bunch as they head into the starting gate for the All American Futurity. It can take a lifetime to get there, and yet in 21 seconds, they'll divvy up $2.6 million. But more importantly, someone's dream will come true. They're in the gate for the 55th running of the All American Futurity. Let's go to the voice of Ruidoso Downs, Robert Fox.
Regal Eagle moving on in, and they're all set for the Grade 1, $2.6 million All American Futurity.
Middle one's delayed. You're going to want to watch the one on the left.
They're running in the All American Futurity, and a beautiful break from all. Wagon Tails fast from the far side with Regal Eagle. Inside of that, you and how many more? He's relentless, Especially Trace at the rail. And also Handsome Jack Flash is coming on. Here's Handsome Jack Flash. Handsome Jack Flash, Especially Trace, Regal Eagle far side, and Wagon Tails. Handsome Jack Flash, I believe, won. Wagon Tails was to the far side. Regal Eagle and Especially Trace at the rail.
Was it Handsome Jack Flash? Did he keep the nose in front, Dave?
Could have been Wagon Tails, who was also charging hard on the outside. This one was closer than it looked, I believe. We'll go back and take another look from start to finish. The one thing that Handsome Jack Flash is known for is finishing strong on the end. He did that in his trial, but I don't think anybody thought that he would be the horse that was in front early on. He came flying out of the gate. Wagon Tails would break sharp, but then start to drift out to the outside fence.
Yeah, Wagon Tails did drift out quite a bit. Handsome Jack Flash has got a great break here.
And that break can be the difference in quarter horse racing. How about the run from the filly, Especially Trace trying to get involved along the rail?
And Regal Eagle's making a late bid as well to get into the 3rd spot, but it's going to come down to the 3, Handsome Jack Flash, and the 10, Wagon Tails at the wire.
And we're going to slow it
it's
down.
Close. It looks, looks like a 310.
Let's go to Shuttercam, but even with Shuttercam, sometimes when they're that far apart, you can't exactly tell who's in front. You're going to see Handsome Jack Flash first, and on the outside.
Oh, that's going to tell us that it's Handsome Jack Flash. Even the 9 was right up in there as well in Regal Eagle. Well, to me, that shot looked like Handsome Jack Flash won. But remember Mr. Piloto a few years back?
Yeah.
It looked like he had lost, and he won. So let's not count our chickens before they hatch here.
I think on the
Super
photo,
close.
it's looking like it's Handsome Jack Flash for Juan Gonzalez. This would be his 2nd All-American. He won in 2003 with Bye Bye JJ.
He was the only trainer in the race that had ever won this race before. Everybody else would have been their first All-American Futurity win. But this is going to be a long photo. It is still on the board as a photo finish.
Paul, the Zia Futurity was the Futurity this gelding won, and it really speaks to the strength of these New Mexico breds. I know you began your career in California, but when you come to New Mexico, you really get the idea of how strong this breeding program is.
You know, every year there's a couple of good horses that come out of this New Mexico bred program, and we've seen it with Bye Bye JJ.
Well, we're waiting for the photo sign to come down, and it has just come down. And the order of finish now on the tote board. 3-9-10-1. Handsome Jack Flash wins the All American Futurity.
So Regal Eagle sneaks in there for second to edge out Wagon Tails. We have an 8-1 winner in the All American.
So Handsome Jack Flash lopes back to the winner's circle under jockey Jaime Leos. Jack Flash, you can't say enough about what this horse has done. The only blemish on his record was a runner-up to He's Relentless in the trials. And he comes back with the most impressive performance. The final clocking here, 21:14, very quick.
That is a nice time there for the New Mexico bred. Let's take a look at the prices as you had Regal Eagle sneaking in for second. Wagon Tails was third, so your trifecta, 3, 9, and 10 is going to come back $1,600.
My eyesight failed me. 21:16 the final clocking, regardless.
That's great.
The 200ths of a second either way doesn't matter. This is a very fast running of the All-American Futurity. Regal Eagle picks up a nice check for second. Wagon Tails rounds out the top three, and especially Trace has to settle for fourth. But Handsome Jack Flash has to settle for nothing else in his career. Juan Gonzalez, he is on that exclusive list, two-time winner of the All-American Futurity.
And the up-and-coming rider here in New Mexico wins his first All-American Futurity. All smiles is Jaime Leos.
How could you not be, as you see the floral blanket donning your All-American Futurity winner of 2013. And right now we're going to check in the winner's circle with Martha Clausen.
Can you put her on the other side?
Yep. Yes.
Hey, pretty Norma.
Okay, here with Norma Alvarez and Norma, Handsome Jack Flash.
Oh.
Can you even?
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It was just broke out of there and stayed on top, and it got close at the end, and I just couldn't believe it until I saw it about 3 times. And then I said, oh my gosh, we won the All-American. Oh my gosh. That's
And he just won the ZA's in New Mexico bred. You've got to
I'm
be,
so
you're
proud.
homebred. You got to be so proud.
And yes, I am, and I understand the governor's here to give us a trophy, and I think it's so appropriate because it's New Mexico. And I'm so proud of it.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Martha.
Yeah, I don't envy that position of winning the All-American and then trying to put into words what you're feeling, because you can't do it. This is a lifelong dream come true, and it does mean so much more for a New Mexico bred to the state of New Mexico. They are very proud of their horses. They are very proud of the racing industry. This reminds me, going back to what Mind That Bird did for the Sunland Derby, making that race a stop on the road to the Kentucky Derby, how proud Leonard Block and Mark Allen were of what he did for New Mexico racing. And the people of this state are very proud of their horse industry.
Yeah, when you're a New Mexico resident and you can race here at Ruidoso Downs and all the other great racetracks in New Mexico, and you could win the biggest race of the year and represent your state, it is something that you have to be very proud of, and that's exactly what Handsome Jack Flash just did here, taking the 2013 All-American Futurity.
It's a nice piece of hardware he picked up as the dream has come true for his connections. Handsome Jack Flash wins the 55th and the richest running ever of the All-American Futurity. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Meanwhile, in the land of enchantment, the celebration continues at Ruidoso Downs in New Mexico as one of their own takes the All-American.
That's right, Todd. You couldn't put it more appropriately. And there's Jaime Leos getting hoisted onto the shoulders of his friends and family after winning the All-American Futurity. And he didn't win it by much, Dave.
No, take a look at the 3 horses on the line together. Actually, Wagon Tail is actually beneath that, but it was actually not as close as I thought. You could call it a neck in the end for Handsome Jack Flash.
Juan Gonzalez and his brother Eduardo Gonzalez finished 1-2 in this year's running of the All-American. And for Juan Gonzalez, it was All-American victory number 2.
And the ownership group here, 3 different owners from 3 different cities here in New Mexico: La Union, Las Cruces, and locally, not too far from here, Tularosa. So New Mexico shining bright here today at Ruidoso Downs.
It's absolutely a win for New Mexico, that's for certain. And how about this final clocking? 21:16.
Where does that
Handsome
rank?
Jack Flash goes faster than Stoley's winner, Win a Lot of Cash, One Dashing Eagle, and AB What a Runner to finish 6th, the 6th fastest clocking in the history of this race.
And not that far off from what Ochoa did a couple of years back when he went 21.05.
That's going to conclude our coverage from Ruidoso today. We have many thanks. Of course, all of our sponsors that made this coverage possible. Of course, Mr. Hubbard for bringing us here, the track president, Bruce Window. Rimbo, if I had a game ball, though, if we could give away a game ball, you know who I give it to? General Manager Sean Hubbard.
The GM, yeah.
General Manager Sean Hubbard was on it from the moment we got here, he had a tremendous success with everything he did. Very innovative. The ostrich racing you saw yesterday.
That was fun.
That was all Sean. But the crowds were up, handle was up, and we couldn't have done what we did today without a big hand from Sean Hubbard, the general manager, who's doing a fantastic job here at Ruidoso Downs. But today was the day of Handsome Jack Flash. There's Juan Gonzalez hoisting the All American Futurity trophy for the second time in his storied training career. Let's get back to TVG Studios with Todd Schrupp. Jack Flash, you can't say enough about what this horse has done. The only blemish on his record was a runner-up to He's Relentless in the trials, and he comes back with the most impressive performance. The final clocking here, 21:14, very quick.
That is a nice time there for the New Mexico bred. Let's take a look at the prices as you had Regal Eagle sneaking in for second. Wagon Tails was third, so your trifecta 3, 9, and 10 is going to come back $1,600.
My eyesight failed me. 21:16 the final clocking, regardless.
That's great.
The 200ths of a second either way doesn't matter. This is a very fast running of the All American Futurity. Regal Eagle picks up a nice check for second. Wagon Tails rounds out the top three, and especially Trace has to settle for fourth. But Handsome Jack Flash has to settle for nothing else in his career. Juan Gonzalez, he is on that exclusive list, two-time winner of the All American Futurity.
And the up-and-coming rider here in New Mexico wins his first All American Futurity. All smiles is Jaime Leos.
How could you not be? As you see the floral blanket donning your All-American Futurity winner of 2013. And right now we're going to check in the winner's circle with Martha Clausen.
Can you put her on the other side?
Yep. Yes.
Hey, pretty Norma.
Okay, here with Norma Alvarez and Norma, Handsome Jack Flash.
Oh.
Can you
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It was just broke out of there and stayed on top, and it got close at the end, and I just couldn't believe it until I saw it about 3 times. And then I said, oh my gosh, we won the All-American. Oh my gosh.
And he just won the ZA. He's a New Mexico bred. You've got to be,
so
you're
proud.
homebred. You got to be so proud.
And yes, I am, and I understand the governor's here to give us a trophy, and I think it's so appropriate because it's New Mexico. And I'm so proud of it.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Martha.
Yeah, I don't envy that position of winning the All-American and then trying to put into words what you're feeling, because you can't do it. This is a lifelong dream come true, and it does mean so much more for a New Mexico bred, to the state of New Mexico. They are very proud of their horses. They are very proud of the racing industry. This reminds me, going back to what Mind That Bird did for the Sunland Derby, making that race a stop on the road to the Kentucky Derby, how proud Leonard Block and Mark Allen were of what he did for New Mexico racing. And the people of this state are very proud of their horse industry.
Yeah, when you're a New Mexico resident and you can race here at Ruidoso Downs and all the other great racetracks in New Mexico, and you could win the biggest race of the year and represent your state, it is something that you have to be very proud of, and that's exactly what Handsome Jack Flash just did here, taking the 2013 All-American Futurity.
It's a nice piece of hardware he picked up as the dream has come true for his connections. Handsome Jack Flash wins the 55th and the richest running ever of the All-American Futurity. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.